Tea Biz Podcast delivers tea news that you need to know. A recap of the week's major headlines with commentary and cultural trends hosted by Dan Bolton. It is the voice of origin for tea professionals and enthusiasts worldwide.
Tea nourishes and inspires. It is an ancient plant-based medicine that simultaneously heals and energizes the body as it soothes the mind. Making fine tea is a blend of artistry and craftsmanship. The $200 billion tea trade is fundamentally local, yet exerts global influence, employing millions to enhance the well-being of all. Hello, everyone. Here are this week's headlines. Tea is ensnared in an expanding global trade war. Kenya achieves record tea earnings despite market challenges. And Chinese regulators approve a U.S. IPO for Chagee tea. Plus, SlowTEA's new certification program. Italy birthed the slow food movement to encourage greater appreciation of locally produced food and beverages. Slow food promotes the intrinsic qualities and traditions of food processing and preparation. SlowTEA, which originated in 2004, embraced the core philosophy of slow food while maintaining its independence. From these early beginnings, the SlowTEA Alliance, a non-profit, non-governmental organization based in Milan, took shape. STA promotes good, clean, and fair tea production and consumption worldwide, supporting projects that defend local tea traditions, protect biodiversity, and encourage the production of small-scale quality teas. Joining us today are Riccardo Colosi, the SlowTEA Alliance's Global Development Manager, and my good friend, Marco Bertona, President of the Italy Tea Infusions Association, SlowTEA Infusi, and founder of the International SlowTEA Alliance. The Alliance recently introduced a third-party certification label featuring the ladybug, a symbol of protection and renewal. More in a minute, but first, this important message.
What happens when businesses along the tea supply chain get together and support women and children in tea communities? The mother and child-friendly seal for responsible business is creating long-term positive impacts, making your cup of Ceylon tea all the sweeter. Learn more at srilanka-motherandchildseal.org.
Tea is now on the front lines of a global trade war. Canada and the European Union retaliated against U.S.-imposed tariffs this week by announcing 25% retaliatory tariffs on specific U.S. imports to be enforced in early April. U.S. President Donald Trump immediately threatened to escalate fiscal combat further by threatening Europe with a 200% tariff on exported wine. The EU tariffs on $28 billion worth of U.S. goods, including shipments of Camellia sinensis, take effect on April 1. Canada was granted a month-long reprieve for goods that qualify for preferential treatment, but tea is among the goods targeted for a 25% tariff beginning April 2nd. Shabnam Weber, president of the Tea and Herbal Association of Canada, writes, quote, "Until April 2nd, all products from Canada that meet CUSMA, USMCA requirements have received a reprieve. Because the U.S. has moved forward with tariffs on steel and aluminum, however, Prime Minister Trudeau said that he will not lift the 25% tariffs on $30 billion worth of goods that he announced earlier. That means that Camellia sinensis tea coming in packed from the U.S. will be levied the tariff," end quote. Weber said, "I should emphasize that I have had extensive conversations with Global Affairs, and they define the packaging of tea as a substantial change, meaning that tea brought in bulk to the U.S., packed and then exported to Canada, is a product of the United States and will therefore face a 25% tariff," end quote. Tea Association of the USA President Peter Goji explains that blending and packing tea from any country transforms its origin, under provisions of U.S. customs regulations. Quote, therefore, I am inclined to believe that the U.S. will apply a tariff after April 2nd as the goods will be considered of Canadian origin, end quote, he writes. It is unclear whether duties on tea shipped from China and packed in Canada would pay duties of 25%, the Canada rate, or 27.5%, the China rate, upon entering the U.S. In all cases, we recommend that legal expertise be consulted, he wrote via email. U.S. tariffs on EU and Canadian steel and aluminum, effective March 12, triggered the retaliatory tariffs on U.S. products. Tea, specifically HTS 0902, is among the tariff goods, but a breakout of tea alone is not available because the EU groups tea, coffee, mate, and spices in its export totals. Germany is the largest EU trading partner with the U.S. Exports totaled $18.5 million in 2024. The UK, which is not a member of the EU, exported $19.6 million worth of tea to the U.S. Most of the $34 million worth of tea shipped to the U.S. from Canada last year arrived duty-free. TBIZ correspondent Rupa Goswami filed this report on Kenya, where the country's tea industry performed strongly in 2024, with total earnings reaching $1.66 billion, a 9% increase over the previous year. Tea production grew by 4.95%, reaching 598.5 million kilograms. Despite global economic uncertainties and logistical challenges, the country's tea exports increased significantly, reaffirming Kenya's position as the world's leading black tea producer. Kenya exported 594.5 million kilograms of tea in 2024, a 14% increase from 2023. This growth propelled export earnings to $181.69 billion, a slight 1% increase due to lower export prices, which averaged $2.27 per kilo in 2024 compared to $2.47 per kilo in 2023. Pakistan remained the biggest buyer, importing 206 million kilos, followed by Egypt, the UK, the UAE, and Russia. India's imports surged by 225%, reaching 17 million kilos. Last year, Kenya shipped tea to 96 export destinations compared to 92 in 2023. In 2024, the quantity of Kenyan tea offered and reoffered at auction stood at 723 million kilos, including stocks from the previous year. However, only 382 million kilos were sold, an absorption rate of 55% compared to 60% absorption in 2023. The lower absorption rate resulted from higher supply due to increased production. Kenya continued to expand its value-added tea segment, exporting 28.9 million kilograms, a 10% increase over 2023. The UK led demand for value-added Kenyan tea, followed by Sudan, Oman, Somalia, and Yemen. The government removed tax on value-added teas and plans to establish common user facilities and warehousing in key markets to further boost the sector. Specialty teas, including black, orthodox, green, and purple teas, comprised 1.2% of total production, reflecting a niche but growing trend in diversification. Mainland China milk tea chain Chagee will list its initial public offering in the U.S. at an undetermined date. According to a filing notice published by the China Securities and Regulatory Commission, Beijing regulators approved the 6,071 store chain's listing on either the NASDAQ or the New York Stock Exchange. Chagee is backed by venture funds and plans to issue 65 million shares. It is the latest of several IPOs that have funded new-style tea ventures that serve bubble tea, snow-capped tea, milk tea, and fruit teas. The company has opened one store in the U.S. at Westfield Century City, Los Angeles. Chagee reported a gross merchandise value of $1.5 billion in 2023. Funded in 2017 in Yunnan, China, the chain operates relaxed, family-friendly tea houses modeled after Starbucks. The company has 130 million registered members and serves 15 billion cups of tea annually. On March 3rd, rival Mixue raised $444 million from a heavily oversubscribed IPO on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. Mixue operates 46,000 locations in 11 countries, more than either Starbucks or McDonald's. As of June 2023, New Style tea shops accounted for 57.7% of China's 892,000 beverage outlets. Revenue estimates for the segment were 150 billion won in 2023 and are projected to surpass 200 billion won, that's about $27 billion, this year. Business Insight. Founder Junji Zhang writes that Chagee, quote, is focused not on creating demand but on discerning and satisfying the expectations of tea drinkers worldwide, end quote. The company announced plans to open stores in 100 countries. There are 150 stores overseas in Thailand, Singapore, Vietnam, Hong Kong, and Malaysia at this time. The firm specializes in raw leaf milk tea without artificial coloring, preservatives, or trans fatty acids. It reports glycemic index values to precisely determine sugar content and has earned an A rating in the Shanghai Nutritional Choice Labeling Program. And now, a word from this week's sponsor.
Hi, I'm Nish. I grew up in an organic tea farm and founded Nepal Tea Collective in 2016. Tea is not just a beverage for me, but a catalyst for social change, sustainably empowering hardworking artisans like my parents for the past 30 years. I'm on a mission to make the whole world aware of the goodness of Nepali teas and the good that comes from supporting growers in this remarkable land. If you haven't tasted Nepali teas yet, you're missing out. Our award-winning teas are making headlines. Find out why. Visit Nepal Tea Collective's website to get a free sample of this extraordinary taste of the Himalayas. That's nepalteacollective.com. Or just send me an email at nish, Nish, at nepalteacollective.com. Cheers.
Italy birthed the slow food movement to encourage greater appreciation of locally produced food and beverages. Slow food promotes the intrinsic qualities and traditions of food processing and preparation. SlowTEA, which originated in 2004, embraced the core philosophy of slow food while maintaining its independence. From these early beginnings, the SlowTEA Alliance, a non-profit, non-governmental organization based in Milan, took shape. STA promotes good, clean, and fair tea production and consumption worldwide, supporting projects that defend local tea traditions, protect biodiversity, and encourage the production of small-scale quality teas. Joining us today are Riccardo Colosi, the SlowTEA Alliance's Global Development Manager, and my good friend, Marco Bertona, President of the Italy Tea Infusions Association, SlowTEA Infusi, and founder of the International SlowTEA Alliance. The Alliance recently introduced a third-party certification label featuring the ladybug, a symbol of protection and renewal. This certification is based on a new concept of quality grounded in three principles: good, clean, and fair tea. Marco Bertona is the co-founder and chairman of the Italy Tea and Infusions Association, SlowTEA Infusi, Italy's first and oldest tea association. He is a professional tea taster, consultant, and promoter who studied tea at Zhejiang Agricultural University in Hangzhou. He holds certifications and degrees from several Chinese tea research institutes and universities. He was awarded a diploma as an advanced tea taster issued by the Ministry of Labor, China. Riccardo Colosi in Lombardy became devoted to sustainable farming in 2014, when he established an NGO dedicated to promoting and creating a cleaner and more ethical food chain, which he directed until 2021. He has been passionate about tea since 2013 when he completed the Italy Tea and Infusions Association training courses. In 2024, he took on the role of Global Development Manager of the SlowTEA Alliance. Thank you both for joining us today. So the heart of what you're doing is improving the quality of tea, right?
The new concept of quality introduced by SlowTEA Alliance is grounded in the three fundamental principles of good, clean, and fair, which guide the production of tea to ensure it is not only the highest quality, but also produced with respect for the environment, local communities, and traditional practices. Let me now explain what each of these principles means in more detail. Good. The tea must be of distinctive quality from a sensory point of view and rooted in the culture of an area. This quality is defined by local practices and traditions. This organoleptic quality, which educated and well-trained senses can recognize, is a result of the producer's competencies, of the environment, the choice of raw materials and production methods, which don't change its naturalness. What about the clean? Clean ecological sustainability has to be respected and promoted by agricultural practices, processing, marketing, and consumption. Every stage in the tea production and supply chain, consumption included, have to protect our ecosystems and biodiversity and guard the health of the consumer and the producer. Cultivation techniques must avoid the use of synthetic chemicals as much as possible. What about the fair tea? Fair tea means tea produced using working conditions which respect people, their rights and culture, while providing a fair return. This can be achieved by striving for globally balanced economies, practicing solidarity, and upholding cultural and traditional differences. The price of the tea must be fair and transparent also for the consumer. This is a principle based for the SlowTEA Alliance Manifesto for Quality.
Riccardo, would you state the problem the industry is facing that you're ready to solve?
I think the problem we are trying to address is that nowadays there is a lot of brands or businesses that uses words like premium tea, gourmet tea, and specialty tea. And they use this very often, and often it's only words. So suddenly these labels are just marketing words and they are put on product without really checking their quality. And when every brand say that their tea is the best, how can a producer differentiate himself from other brands or from other mediocre tea? So a certification from the independent and trusted association that is SlowTEA Alliance gives a clear proof of quality of dedication from an independent point of view.
The Ladybug label on the product attests to the quality of that specific product, right?
Yes, because we have to prove that this brand, this company really produce something in a different way. So our certification program for SlowTEA Alliance is a very basic activity because we have to give trust to the consumer. Because this word specialty tea, gourmet tea, premium tea is very often, too often used, and consumers are confused about this. So what we want to do is give a certification that can help producer and consumer also to be trusted to this product. Yes.
SlowTEA is not affiliated with the SlowTEA Association. However, it endorses the principles and initiatives of the slow food movement. What inspired you?
This Go Slow movement, it was inspired by Carlo Petrini's slow food philosophy In 2004, everything started at that time when I worked for Slow Food. From these early beginnings, the story of SlowTEA Alliance begins, and in the last 15 years, SlowTEA Alliance has actively taken part in important international events, sharing our vision and promoting a new quality standard. So our commitment to improving the tea industry has connected with the tea producers and consumers who see the value of the certification that is more than just marketing and truly support the integrity of the tea production and sustainability. Yeah.
So, SlowTEA Alliance develops countless activities, projects, and events all around the world at national, international, and even local levels. Most of these activities and, of course, projects revolve around three thematic lines: biodiversity, quality, and networking. We believe that tea is tied to many aspects of life, of course, including culture, health, economics, agriculture, and the environment itself. And this is why we are an active player in a wide variety of areas. And to work across this wide sphere, SlowTEA defends biodiversity and promotes tea and taste education. We connect sustainable tea producers and tea lovers, and we shorten the supply chain.
It's very similar to GI.
Yes. When you mention about the GI, yes, you're right. This is very close to GI concept, yeah, because tea must be of distinctive quality from a sensory point of view, is rooted in the culture of an area.
Yeah.
So this quality is defined by local practice and traditions. So you mentioned the great Darjeeling. Everyone knows that the muscatel taste is what we are looking for in the Darjeeling. So who decided this? A panel? Of course, no. This is just the local practices and the tradition. They give this characteristic to the Darjeeling as a top quality. But who is the expert in the Darjeeling, or is it really Darjeeling lovers? He knows that what is more important is not the first flush or second flush, but is the muscatel that we can find especially in the second flush. Quality is a result of the producer competencies, of the environment, the choice of raw materials and production method. So this is what make a specialty tea, like Darjeeling, like Longines or any other traditional old tea. Yeah.
You're not hiring inspectors to observe how the process works. You're more interested in the finished product, right?
We are just interested in a very niche, small market. We are interested in a little small farmer. So our focus is especially on this small tea producer. We are not interested in the very big company. We just want to support the small-scale tea producer. This is the focus we are interested in, like association, because this kind of producer, they produce very high-quality tea, maybe also artisanal tea, but they are not enough strong by themselves to promote on the market that product. So with our certification, we address to a special market, a special target of consumer. We are addressed to the consumer. They pay more attention to the quality. They pay attention to the origin of the tea. They are interested to know about the story of the tea, where from, who is the family who produce, which area, maybe which variety also of the tea plant. This is our target. We are interested. So our certification is totally different than the other. First, we don't need a third-party control. Many certifications need to spend a lot of money to pay companies who follow the certifications.
What is your price point and your sales pitch?
Well, it depends on the dimension of the batch you want to certify, because our certification is not based on the certification of the farm. So it's not everything that a company produces, but we can certify just only a batch. A producer can start a line of production dedicated to these core principles and maybe make a small batch, even if he has a big production. It won't be a big cost for a company or for a small producer, because we think that the price could be a problem, but only if you don't have any value to offer. Because when you certify your product and you can show that your product is a good product that is based on ethical principles, that is responsible for what it produces, for not polluting the environment and so on, consumers are more than happy sometimes to pay a premium price. So the benefits for us exceeds the costs.
Will you explain the significance of SlowTEA's ladybug mascot?
Yes, of course, when we started more than 20 years ago to talk about SlowTEA, the first idea it was how to symbolize the tea, how to find a symbol for tea, for SlowTEA. So this idea is why the ladybug symbol. Because the ecological value of ladybugs is well known, and their presence serves as an indicator of ecological health. So ladybugs are great. Also because they react strongly to chemical fertilizers and pesticides, and they are highly sensitive to environmental conditions. Indeed, some researchers have proposed that they be used as indicator species for environmental change. So ladybugs also eat insects that farmers consider to be pests, like aphids, and don't harm plants themselves, and unlike many pesticides, they leave no toxic traces. So the ladybug don't kill everything like chemical pesticides. They simply correct the natural order of the tea garden, thereby making the plant flourish, green and healthy, just as Mother Nature intended. So, long life to the ladybug, long life to the SlowTEA.
Intrigued by what you heard in today's podcast? Would you like to learn more from our global network of tea-biz journalists and tea experts? Remember to visit the Tea-Biz website for more comprehensive coverage. That's www.t-biz.com. Thanks for listening. Farewell till next week.
Produced by Adavita Studios. Connect your voice to the world.